Hey YouTube, Joeboy here. So, today I want to talk about my very self-explanatory title. It has recently been revealed that the very last chapter of Whole Cake Island was chapter 900, and starting with chapter 901, we will begin Wano. And yeah guys, this is exclusive information that was given to us by Shonen Jump, and oh my god, there are implications. You guys know that I recently speculated that perhaps chapter 900, actually something crazy happened that was just not as obvious as it could have been. But if 900 is the last chapter of Whole Cake Island, and it is, then I would guess that if there is anything interesting happening in Whole Cake Island, then we will never see it. It would be so strange to come back to Whole Cake Island in the middle of the Wano arc. Honestly, if Oda pulls something like that, a lot of the community will be disengaged. You start setting up Wano hype and people will be looking forward to that, and even more so than they are now, and actually be angry if we go back to Whole Cake Island and it isn't the most hype thing ever. So basically it almost forces us to believe that Whole Cake Island is legitimately ending. Like, the Vinsmokes are fighting right now. Whatever happens with Peckham's, whatever happens with Pudding, whatever happens with Big Mom, I think it's overwhelmingly likely that we will never find out / nothing really interesting happen. The Straw Hats must have found a way to escape, the Sunny must not have been destroyed, and then I guess the Straw Hats will make an appearance when we least expect it in Wano. This has got to be the biggest cliffhanger ever in the story. To literally just end an arc on a cliffhanger, it's craziness. But you know, this is something that isn't just completely out of the left field. There actually have been some people that have speculated that something like this might occur. Specifically, a speculation that I have seen is that these Strats will head to Wano. They survived in some way, and we're never going to find out exactly how Big Mom reacts to the cake, or, you know, if she finds out that Sanji made it, what her reaction would be. And we don't really see the consequences of what is occurring in Whole Cake Island. And so basically Oda is creating excitement for when the rest of these Strats end up arriving in Wano, but the twist is they arrive in Wano with the Big Mom pirates following them. So Oda's cutting out all the remainder of the chase, basically, while leaving us uncertain as to their future. Uncertain in quotes, because of course the Strats are going to survive. But there is just huge question marks about the Vinsmoke and about Capone and about Peckham's as to whether or not it is even possible for them to survive. Like, I do not know how they could possibly survive, and if Oda off-screens their deaths, man, people will rage. I'm just kind of at a loss for words, guys. I'm at a loss for words because I don't know how this could be good. I don't know how this could be a good decision. We cut back to Whole Cake Island while we're in the middle of Wano. People won't be happy. We cut straight to Wano and these Strats just randomly appear and we don't learn what happened in the middle, or, you know, it's some sort of contrivance. It's not an interesting story, an interesting enough story to tell. Is that a good thing? But yeah, guys, this is crazy news. This is so crazy, I cannot even believe that it is true. And neither should you, because it's April Fool's Day. But the real irony of this video is that despite this video being an April Fool's joke, sort of, it's not really, because it's real news. On the top right hand corner of the cover of the last issue of Shonen Jump, you have a picture of the Strats with an arrow to the picture of the Strats in Wano, and the caption says, "Let's go to Wano," or "Forward to wano-kuni." Why the hell would it say "Forward to wano-kuni" on the cover of Shonen Jump if the next chapter is not heading into Wano? And so it's time for me to actually be serious here, guys, because, I mean, the things that I said earlier in this video were serious. But the cover implies that the Strats are literally going to Wano, but I do not see how it is possible, how it could be good for this to occur, like, in the next chapter. But maybe this cover is implying that Wano is a lot sooner than we thought it was. Or at least a lot sooner than some people thought that it was. Some people thought that Wano was, you know, soon. But I think that you guys should keep in mind that this issue of Shonen Jump actually released on April Fool's Day. And so, basically because of the way that I learned of this, person who brought it up or noticed this detail said that the Japanese don't really do April Fool's Day. Or they don't do it often. I personally have no expertise in the matter, so I would defer to people who actually live in Japan. Or are from Japan. But this could very well be a Shonen Jump April Fool's joke. But it's also worth pointing out that also in the top right corner of the Shonen Jump cover, it says that we are at the climax of Whole Cake Island, which would I think be like the third climax. And most likely the final climax. And so with this being in mind, what they could be implying is that since we are at the climax of Whole Cake Island, Wano is soon, but not in the next chapter. It could also imply that we are about to get an update as to what is going on in Wano, but we're not quite going to get into Wano yet. I think it'd be a really awkward time to get an update, but it's definitely possible. But again guys, if I'm honest, I really don't know how to take this information because I just don't see how Whole Cake Island can end with chapter 900. Give it maybe 5 chapters, I can buy it. And I'm not even going to bring up the question of where is the reverie. But if you've learned anything from the Whole Cake Island arc, if you have been following the community, then you should have learned one thing above anything else. Be very, very skeptical of what the higher-ups and the editors are saying. Because the information that they give us is not always entirely accurate. In fact, in the past year, it really hasn't seemed accurate at all. And I think that it applies to this situation as well. Obviously, you'll believe what you want to believe. A lot of people think that Whole Cake Island will end soon. A lot of people want Whole Cake Island to end soon, so then they would believe that maybe this is the last chapter of Whole Cake Island. They would be fine with that. And there's other people that, like myself, that think that there's at least a few things that need to be wrapped up before we can move on. There needs to be some kind of resolution. But regardless of what you believe or what you want to believe, I would not take this information as fact. Because throughout this arc, taking the editor's words as fact has led to a lot of L's being given out. But if you guys have any theories about how Whole Cake Island might wrap up if this was the last chapter of Whole Cake Island, or you have theories about how it could wrap up very, very quickly, go ahead and share them in the comment section. Because right now I'm kind of forced to think that Whole Cake Island might literally be ending soon. But anyway guys, I'm not particularly good about April Fools. And typically I would ignore it. But I really couldn't pass up this bit of news. So I decided to do an April Fool's joke with mostly truth. And of course I'm curious as to what you guys think about it. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked the video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to be notified for my future content. And as always guys, have a wonderful day.